Flight 28, the adventure begins. The 28th of November had finally arrived. It had been weeks of eager anticipation, and Sarah's heart raced as she stood in front of the bustling airport terminal. Her flight, Flight 28, wasn't just any flight. It was the start of her dream journey, a new chapter. The air was thick with the excitement of travelers. But today, Sarah felt like the world was hers to conquer. She handed her boarding pass to the gate agent, her fingers trembling with excitement. "Flight 28, Gate 14, the agent smiled, motioning her toward the jet bridge. Sarah could feel the butterflies fluttering wildly in her stomach. She had always wanted to fly, but now, as she stood on the edge of it, the reality of soaring through the clouds felt overwhelmingly thrilling. The plane gleamed in the sunlight, its wings spread wide like the wings of a bird preparing to take flight. She couldn't help but stop for a moment, taking in the sight of the massive aircraft. "This is it," she whispered, gripping her bag as she walked up the steps onto the plane. Once inside, everything felt so real. The cool air of the cabin, the soft hum of the engines, and the soft lighting above were all like a prelude to the adventure ahead. She found her seat by the window, her eyes wide with wonder. The flight attendants, cheerful and welcoming, passed by with smiles. The captain's voice crackled over the intercom. "Welcome aboard Flight 28. We're cruising at 35000 feet today, and the weather is clear, so we should have a smooth ride. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey." As the plane taxied to the runway, Sarah's excitement grew into a palpable energy. Her heart raced, and her hands clenched the armrests. The engines revved, and before she knew it, the plane surged forward with incredible force. Her stomach flipped as the wheels lifted off the ground. She was flying. As they ascended higher, the world below became a tiny patchwork of streets and houses, and the sky opened up into endless blue. Sarah pressed her face against the window, eyes wide with awe. The clouds looked like soft cotton, and the sun's rays painted everything in gold. She was on top of the world, and nothing had ever felt so exhilarating. The captain came over the intercom again, announcing they were cruising at full altitude. Sarah could barely contain her excitement. She turned to the person sitting next to her, a fellow traveler, and exclaimed, "This is the most amazing thing I've ever experienced." But suddenly, the plane jolted. A brief moment of turbulence, and the cabin shook. Sarah's heart leaped into her throat. She had never experienced anything like this before. The plane seemed to dip and sway, and passengers gasped in surprise. Sarah gripped the armrest, eyes wide. Her breath caught in her throat, but the flight attendants, calm and composed, moved through the aisles as if nothing was wrong. The captain's reassuring voice cut through the tension. "Nothing to worry about, folks. Just a little bump in the air. We'll be smooth again shortly." And just like that, the plane steadied and the moment passed. Sarah let out a relieved breath, her excitement even higher now. She had faced the turbulence and had come through it, stronger, more alive. As the journey continued, she could hardly sit still. Every moment felt magical. The clouds outside, the smoothness of the flight, the friendly chatter of passengers. It all came together in a perfect, exhilarating experience. She was on her way to something incredible. When the plane began its descent, Sarah's heart raced again. The lights of her destination twinkled in the distance, and she leaned forward, eager to reach the ground, but sad to leave the sky. With a soft thud, the plane touched down, and the cabin erupted in applause from the passengers. As she stepped off the aircraft, the feeling of accomplishment flooded over her. Flight 28 hadn't just been a trip, it had been an unforgettable adventure that had filled her with joy, excitement, and an unquenchable thirst for more. The world was hers to explore, and this was just the beginning.